Hello again, soul friends and soul family, and welcome back to Inspired Sovereignty Radio. So today, this is a really amazing episode. We are talking through the Essene Gospel of Peace and relating it to all the stuff that we always talk about, because this is such extreme wisdom on how to take care of the physical body for physical reasons as well as spiritual reasons. And this is hopefully going to blow your mind and blow your heart like it has for me. So this ended up being a pretty darn long episode when I recorded it. I've put so much love and work into this episode because I wanted to do this information justice. I really wanted to hold the most sacred space for this conversation and allow it to be encompassing and comprehensive, and for us to really dive into this magnificent wisdom that was omitted from the Bible on how we ought to truly take care of ourselves. So this is such an important conversation that I have split it up into 2 different episodes. Okay, so this is episode number 77. This is part 1 of the Essene Gospel of Peace. And now our next episode, episode 78, will be part 2 of it. And so in these conversations, it's a lot. It's a lot to spiritually comprehend and a lot to really envision. And so I really want to suggest to take these episodes as they fit for you. Take what fits, discard the rest. Go at this at whatever pace you want, but from my soul to your soul. Episode 77 and upcoming episode 78 are super, super valuable and extremely important for these days that we are in and for this stage of awakening for us individually and collectively. So let's dive in, and I really hope that you enjoy. Welcome again, dear soul friends and soul family, to the newest episode of Inspired Sovereignty Radio. Hi, everybody, and welcome to our very first episode of 2022. And I hope that we are all doing pretty better in this newer energy. We've gone from a year of 5 energy, which is about massive change and imbalance, and there's discomfort and revealing and so much. And we're moving into a year that is 222, which gives us master energy, master number energy in numerology, as well as it being a year of a 6, which is going to bring more balance and ease and love and community and a completely different energetic foundation than what we were just experiencing with a 5 energy. So, hey everybody, how are we all doing? Have we set any intentions for this year? Whether or not you do resolutions or however you do what you do, we are in a different year where the past does not equal the future, where what we've been through, what we've experienced, what the patterns and programs and cycles have been, we're moving now. We are in something completely new. So if we can refreshen ourselves and come from a place of acknowledging this newness and this differentness within the energies and timelines, so that we can participate as the next fresher version of ourselves, the version of ourselves that belongs on this next timeline. So where we all at, I know that I've got my own intentions that I'm anchoring in through physical practices and spiritual practices and diet. And, I truly want to embody my next version of myself, my next station of my own identity, if you will. So I want to invite you to do the same if nobody has invited you to do so yet, or if you haven't even invited yourself to really step into next version of you, because that's available for all of us right now. And it really takes us pulling each other and ourselves forward, and knowing that as we evolve into this next level of our sex, next more expanded, more conscious, more integral version of ourselves, that there's going to be aspects of us that must die away. It's just how it is, and it's okay, and it's good. So, friends, we got the Palo Santo smudging today, and I wish Kimberly was here with us. She'll be here with us for the next ones, for sure, of course. But this is a really, really special conversation today. This has been one that I've promised to a lot of you for quite some time now. This is an episode that fundamentally shifts everything. I recorded this episode over like a year and a half ago, and I didn't end up doing anything with the footage or with the audio. Like I had some computer issues and it kind of just sat there, and then I don't even quite know what happened to it once I had a computer crash, and on and on and on. So that episode wasn't meant to be at this time. And on some levels, I trust it's also because now is the time for this conscious healing, evolving, and expanding conversation. And also, I am here ready to do it. I am here ready to speak it and to share it and to be the conduit of this information and wisdom to meet your ears and your mind and your heart. So that is what we are doing today. And okay, so we're doing the Essene Gospel of Peace. And so you probably know that already from the title of this episode, obviously. But this episode, I've had to really, really prepare for it. I've been aware of this Essene Gospel of Peace, which is Jesus's teachings about how to care for the body. And this was omitted from the Bible. Huh? Why? This wasn't included in the Bible. This was found in the Dead Sea Scrolls within the basement of the Vatican. And we can also, just first and foremost, recognize that the Vatican is the hub of human trafficking across the entire planet. So we've got to understand that the Vatican is not what we have been thinking or told that it actually is. So we can understand why this information was probably intentionally omitted from the Bible. Okay, so this is what we're talking about today. We're not really just talking about it. It's like I'm reading it, parts of it, with you because it's so important. And I was aware of this document about 10 years ago. A really dear, the most cosmic soul sister of mine ever, Lita, we shared really incredible times and months of awakening in the Hawaiian island of Kauai together. And one time when I was giving her a colonic a very long time ago, when I was set up with my own office in British Columbia in the little mountain town of Golden, BC, where I had 20 acres of land and I was living off grid and I was building earth ships and permaculture and that whole very beautiful, very challenging reality. And she told me when I was giving her a colonic, she was like, and this is almost 10 years ago, me. So a different version of me that was earlier on the journey of awakening, of course. And she told me, she was like, Ivy, this is saintly work that you're doing. This is holy work that you are doing. And it caught me off guard. And I'm a person that's I'm really good at not letting stuff fluff my ego. So I just really took that in and I sat with that, and I sat with that comment for years. I sat with that reflection for years. And as I did my work as a colon hydrotherapist in my own body and in hundreds of other bodies, what I recognized was that literally when we purge the darkness out of the bowels, everything starts healing. And not only does everything in the human body start healing, but the mind begins effortlessly expanding. Effortlessly, other than the energy that it takes to shit out all your darkness, but everything starts evolving quickly, easily, unpromptedly, and the soulful work changes, and we become more loving and less irritable and agitated. We become more understanding of our connection to our food and the planet and water and sunshine and air and earth. And we become intuitive on how we feed ourselves and what we're actually feeling. Our anxiety starts to dissipate. Our depression starts to dissipate. Like, all of these different things in different aspects of the body that we find ourselves where we're out of sorts, we're inflamed, we're unbalanced, we're uneasy, we're not what we want. And truly inside, know that we are here to experience. And so as, the months and years goes by and I'm fleshing people and fleshing people and fleshing people and holding such sacred, safe space for their unfolding, because from that time of Lita sharing that reflection of this being saintly, holy work of truly being the person or being, a person in the trenches to actually, get dirty. And I mean, it's very infrequently that I ever find feces on me. So not that kind of dirty, but I mean like getting in the trenches with the human who is physically suffering. And from that place, alleviating them and help them purge everything that doesn't belong in them, everything that is not good and not holy and not pure and not safe to be a part of us, to really allow an unraveling and an unfurling of the person. Because also as we purge all this darkness, and please go listen to all the past episodes on colon hydrotherapy, gut cleansing, and enemas, okay? You'll get so much more information about what I'm talking about. But when we actually let this stuff go, we create space to be filled with light. And so as I'm talking about this, I know I get very multidimensional when I talk about gut cleansing, but that is because it's multidimensional work, period. And if that's not an understanding, an understanding for you yet, then I'm going to keep talking so that we keep experiencing and learning, okay? Learning is so important. Please stay so open to new perspectives, new ideas. Keep yourself coachable, okay? Be coachable. So that means that we're open to information and we use our discernment to see like, how can that fit me? Or maybe it doesn't fit. But stay coachable in the way of like, you don't need to go get a coach. You don't need to get me to coach you. But through this podcast, I'm here to coach you. And through, I'm sure, many other things in your life that are there for your support, you being, in quotes, coachable, helps us to really be open to receiving our uploads, our downloads, our upgrades. We stay in a place of our expansion. And even for the stuff that is like not fun, not comfortable, stuff that we don't like about our experience, like all of that is here for us also. Okay, so Lita told me that this is holy and saintly work to cleanse. And, I'm like, well, thank you, but what do you mean? And she's like, to hold that sacred loving in space for people to do this deepest work of purging the darkness from the body. It's like there's a lot of people that aren't able to hold that space or have the skill level to do this work. And there's so many people in need, like literally everybody is in need to clean this darkness out of them. And okay, so where I was going with, I know I talk about this from a very multidimensional place, but what I mean is from a decade of cleansing out people. And also, if you guys are new to me, hi, I'm Ivy. Sorry, I just went straight into this episode because I have been like studying and reading and studying and studying and studying. And the whole time my mind is just blown. My mind is just blown because everything that I'm studying in the Essene Gospel of Peace is what I have already learned through the physical therapeutic practices of gut cleansing. This is all what I've already witnessed. What? So I'm Ivy. I am a colon hydrotherapist. I'm a holistic minister practitioner. I'm a practitioner of many, many different holistic things. I won't take the time to list all of them. You can see all of them on my website if you ever want to see the different ways that I can support you. But I've been doing just tons of training and learning and working on different holistic modalities with people for 17 years now. And so I have been able to witness a lot. But further back, I am a person. I was born in the 80s and I was chronically constipated. I was a preemie. I was born a month early. I was a very, very tiny baby. Luckily, I was breastfed. Luckily, I was naturally born, but I was still always sick as a child. My mother was on steroids while I was in the womb for colitis. And so I was a young little baby and a young child being put on plenty of medications. I was repeatedly sick with ear infections. I remember growing up, I had tonsillitis or bronchitis pretty much every other month. I had chronic anxiety, mutism, acne. Like my body and my mind went through all of the problems of a chronically constipated, dehydrated person. And I was about a once a week pooper for the first 20 years of my life. So chronic constipation, serious here. Okay, so I know all of the problems that happen in the body when we are constipated. When we are constipated, what is that actually? It means that we have a residual slow buildup and impaction of our fecal waste getting stuck inside the intestines, or the plumbing system, if you will, of our body. So our colon is like the sewer. However, it's the sewer that also encompasses over 80% of our immune system, the sewer that produces over 95% of our serotonin, which is the neurotransmitter chemical that goes to our brain then and helps us feel good and happy and alive, just like dopamine. So the colon, and I mean, I just told you just two simple things, but the colon does so much for our body. It is constantly feeding what is happening inside of it into our blood. That information and nourishment then travels around the whole body, feeding through your blood every cell, tissue, and organ with the information, the chemistry, and the biological or even pathological environment that is found in the colon. So with everything that we're talking about today, friends, we are coming at it from a physical standpoint. Like, so when we're talking about darkness, we're literally talking about because it's dark colored, the dark, nasty, putrefying shit that's stuck inside of all of us, that then also houses opportunistic organisms. I almost said multidimensional organisms, but opportunistic is the word that I was looking for. But now, on the same hand, this stuff is also all multidimensional. Okay, so that dark, hot, putrefying, nasty shit that is stuck in your intestines, and I'm so sorry that I'm the one that tells you that it's inside of you. But friends, I've worked with everybody from people in their late 80s to very young people, to raw vegans who have had that diet for 10 years, to standard American diet, to chronically constipated pooping once a month people, to Crohn's, colitis, IBD, like all of the problems, the mental challenges, emotional challenges, cardiovascular challenges, acidic challenges, inflammatory challenges, skin challenges, reproductive challenges, like all of the different challenges in the body are all related to the fact that we've got pounds of putrefying waste in our gut right now. So unless you've done a tremendous amount of gut cleansing that must include enemas and/or colonics, colonic lavage, colon hydrotherapy. Those are all words for the same thing. So if you have not yet done deep cleansing where you have witnessed your body release this darkness, and it doesn't even look or smell like regular poops, because it's been in there a long time. It is ancient. And, okay, side note, one of my clients who was recently doing enemas at home, he shared with me, he's like, Ivy, the smell that came out, the only word that came to mind was ancient. What? You know? So when we've got this dark shit stuck in the body with these opportunistic organisms being bad bacteria, unfriendly bacteria, yeast, candida yeast, and a whole bunch of different parasites. It's estimated by tropical disease specialists that we have over 1,000 intestinal parasites in our gut. And so understanding that these things that I'm telling you about create systemic inflammation and create systemic incoherence and imbalance in the body in all ways. So wherever you are weaker in your body, this is where you're going to witness your problems begin when we've got junk in the trunk, if you will. And so all of these multidimensional opportunistic organisms, these things create so much burden on the body. But like I'm saying, these are multi-dimensional. So when we have, let's say, parasites in our body, that's a whole nother entity. Okay, friends? Parasites, I see them of a demonic energy. That's truly how I see it, because they live within us and they feed off of us. And that is terrible. They create so much pollution and challenge wherever they are in the body. They create toxicity in us, neurotoxicity, things that are going to affect our blood, our tissues, our organs, our full nervous systems, our brain, everything. So parasites can elicit most any symptom in the body. Let me say that again. Parasites in your gut, and then they travel to all other places in the body. They can exhibit almost any symptom that you can think of, from ear infections in children to obesity to bulimia and anorexia to polycystic ovarian syndrome to headaches, migraines, rage to skin problems to IBS, colitis, IBD, Crohn's, to like almost anything that you can think of. Parasites will do that shit to you, okay? And so, right, we understand that we're in physical bodies right now. And let me just say something as fact, and I mean, disagree or agree or whatever, okay? But this I'm telling you is fact. And also, quick disclaimer, like professional disclaimer is always in the show notes, okay, guys? I'm not here to treat, diagnose, prescribe, or anything. I'm here to share wisdom and perspective and the way that I live my life to share with you, okay? That's it. And as always, take from this episode what is useful for you and discard the rest, okay? Just take whatever you want out of this, but please also come back to this episode at another time, because this is a living episode that every time you return, there's going to be new something important for you here, dear friend. So these entities that are living inside of us, like, they're no good, but they're energetic entities. So we understand that we are in human bodies. A lot of people think, though, that like spirit, soul, completely separate from the body. And it's like we're just in the body. The body's just the car of the soul. The body doesn't matter. You hear people saying, I am not my body. I am not my body. I am not my body. Friends, we are our bodies. We are our bodies. Soul exists in all of the different realms, all of the different frequency bandwidths, all of the different like energetic vibrational levels of this reality. So the body is soul, or aspects of soul, in three-dimensional reality. How soul shows up here in the third dimension is in a human body. And so when there's problems in the human body because we live in this very backwards, upside down, reversed, deceptive matrix. When there's problems in the body, then there's also issues and imbalances in the mental body, the emotional body, the auric body, and up to like our monadic bodies and oversoul and beyond. So if that was just a lot, what I'm saying is that when there are physical issues in the physical body, there's also those those issues are going to be mirrored, and they're going to holographically exist also in the spiritual, emotional, energetic bodies. It's not this separation between soul and body. It's like what we're experiencing here in the body, in this physical realm, is also energetically in different ways to different degrees experienced within the spirit and soul. So whatever words fit right for your spiritual ideology and your reality, like take these words and this understanding and, bring it into yourself in the way that makes sense for you. Okay. So no longer are we going to be like, I'm not my body. Like we don't want to over identify with the body, but to understand that body is soul in the third dimension. This is how soul moves around, is in one of these flesh sacks. And by the end of this episode today, we're going to really realize with our real eyes, with our true internal knowing, that if the body is polluted and we're not actively working to remove that pollution, that it affects us spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and on the soul level. And that means our connection to the divine, our connection to God or universe or great spirit. Again, whatever term is best for you, dear souls. So this is such an important episode. And guys, I'm trying to get to the chase here, but I wanted to explain more of this before we dive in to give a more encompassing understanding of why this conversation is so massively important, and especially right now to we the people. Okay. So understand that even if you poop every day, but if you have not done deep and thorough bowel cleansing, you must listen to this episode, and we must begin cleansing your sacred human body, my dear friend. Okay. And when I'm saying must is not coming from a place of the mind. Must is coming from a place of soul. Must is coming from a place of heart. Must is coming from a place of the intelligent, wise, multidimensional body, which is a holographic light projector. Like we are portals. We are portals and anchors and conductors and transmitters. Like what the human body is, it is multidimensional technology that is going to blow your mind as your body comes online. And that is what is necessary for us to shift density, for us to drop our density and become like our silicate, more lighter, more evolved, expanded, next timeline version of ourselves, okay? We don't get there by being super polluted with darkness, okay? And then also, let me just go with what I was saying earlier with this multidimensional darkness, that I always refer to the darkness inside of people as in like the poop darkness. I call it darkness because that's what it is, because this darkness houses really bad energies of death. That's why they say that death begins in the colon. 90% of all of the issues that will eventually like maim us and kill us all begin right in the colon, because this is where we end up holding on to that dark, toxic, multidimensional shit. Okay? It's in our body. It's in your body. Feel your belly right now. Is it a little bit distended? Is it really distended? Is it protruding? Is it jiggly? Is it really tight? Is it uncomfortable? What is your belly like? How does it move with your breath? Do you breathe into it? Most everybody's got at least 5 to 25 pounds of old waste in the body that is constantly putrefying at body temperature. Okay. And some people have a lot more than that. And remember, that is the housing where opportunistic organisms come in to start eating on stuff and feeding on stuff. But it's not like they just come in and eat our poop and it's all done and good. It's like, no, they live in that. That's kind of like a bomb shelter for them to live in. And then they feed off of us, off of our tissues, off of our blood, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so when I tell you and share with you that there's darkness in us, I mean that there's physical darkness, but then what is the multidimensional aspect of that isn't what is visual to the eye? Just like my body, And hey, we're on YouTube if you didn't know, okay? But my body that you're seeing right now, right? You're not seeing my soul. You're feeling me, but you see my body. And we understand that the multidimensional version of me, the energetic version of me, is soul. But what you see is body. But soul and body, they're still one and the same, okay? So when we've got that darkness inside, it's of a very dark energy, dark frequency. That and the energetic darkness that we are truly at war with on this planet right now, they are one in the same. They're just different frequency emanations of what we are talking about, okay? So this is really why we're having this conversation, is because, and I say this with the most love, the most lover, the like love of the great mother of this entire planet. So much love, my friends. Y'all are full of shit. And I don't mean like, oh, you're so full of shit. I mean, literally, if you haven't done this work yet, you're full of shit. And we got to do something about that, okay? Because for our ascension, individually and collectively, it takes us making these bodies holy again, making these bodies saintly again. Period. Okay? And I'm here to help. My soul calling is to clean the shit, the darkness out of us. So that's what we're going to do, okay? So the Enema program, we are still working on it. Just, guys, things take time. We're doing so much to create this foundation, and things take time. So with this, by the end of January, we're going to have cleansing program launched. It's going to be like video modules and absolutely everything that you need to know to safely, intelligently, and gracefully cleanse and heal yourself, your family, your children, your husband, your wife, your grandparents, your parents, your friends, your brothers, your sisters, everybody. I'm going to teach you what I've learned in 17 years of so many different studies and working on bodies. Kimberly and I are teaching you exactly what to do. Exactly. And then this Enema program, because it's Fren mixed with Enema, Enema, hilarious, right? Hilarious, great. I think it's great. So, and this is not just to cleanse yourself. What you're also going to learn within this program is how to utilize enemas to actually care for yourself. So how to medicinally, therapeutically use enemas to relieve all of the problems in your household as they come. So beyond bowel issues, we're talking about how to help yourself when you have food poisoning or the flu or allergies or skin troubles, headaches, migraines, emotional buildup, anxiety, depression, oral hygiene, PMS and things like that, like the whole gambit. We're putting into this course because if you know how to cleanse and heal your colon and your digestive tract, the rest of your body will follow suit. Okay. When I got into this work in 2011, and I bought my own equipment, and because I had been so chronically constipated my whole life. And when I started cleansing, I was like, oh my God, everything started changing. Not just my poop, my skin, because I was covered head to toe hives from topical steroid withdrawal. And after 2 colonics, everything just cleared up. And I thought it was a miracle. And then sleep changes, energy changes, mood changes. Oh my goodness, vaginal health changes. Like literally everything starts changing. And then, as I learn more and more, it's like, oh my gosh, I need to have this equipment and this knowledge for myself in my home, because then no matter what, I can keep myself well. I can ward off 90% of diseases. If 90% of diseases begin in the gut, if I just heal my gut, keep my gut clean, take care of my gut, put my energy to my gut and my colon, the body will take care of everything else. And it's true. And I've seen it in practice for 10 years. 10 years I've practiced this. And every single time it works. So I hope this laid a really good foundation for why we're doing this episode. I wanted to give you background and I wanted to give you of what I've seen over the years. And I wanted to share with you that I have seen the wisdom of this Essene Gospel of Peace in action for over a decade. And it is true. I didn't read the Essene Gospel of Peace first and then start practicing. I started practicing and I found these laws of God in the human body. I found these out on my own. I learned all these things through just working on bodies and holding this holy, sacred, saintly space for people to cleanse. I'm just there as a tool. But what people do inside of themselves is incredible. Incredible. And then, coming to the Essene Gospel of Peace, then at a later date, it's like, God, thank you. Universe, thank you. Thank you for teaching me all of these things through firsthand experience and then showing me that you got a book to explain it. This is great, because now I've got all of the words to share it very well with you guys, especially when we're in this time where what's going on really does seem biblical. What's going on is big, and it's time for these conversations. Okay, so guys, we're about to jump into it. There's one other thing that I kind of want to share as a disclaimer, and I don't know if this needs to be said, but I'm gonna say it anyways. And this came from a recent conversation with my husband. And so I told him, I'm like, I've got so much studying that I'm doing, and it's taking so much longer. I expected to have this episode done 3 weeks ago, if not a year and a half ago. And I'm sharing with him what I'm doing with this. And he mentioned to me, he's like, okay, so you're really leaning into the religious thing, right? And I was like, what? Huh? No. So for you guys to know, because I want to be taken as I am, and let's let go of any projections that we might have. But I grew up without religion. I was babysat for 10 years by the most incredible Mormon family, and I think that they imbued within me a lot of values and some really, really beautiful things. And I will always be grateful to this family, but I wasn't raised in religion. I went to church for funerals and weddings, and being in a church always elicited a lot of emotion for me. Like a lot of emotion, because it felt very holy, and I didn't have context for that. So I was not raised, I was raised very emotionally, but I was not raised religious. I was quite spiritual. I would pray as a child and growing up, and I longed for connection, but I would go to nature. I wasn't religious. And then as my journey took me on, I dropped out of my psychology program from the University of Alberta, and I found yoga and yoga teacher training in Peru and ayahuasca and breath work, and then all of these different holistic trainings. And there were many times where, I didn't dabble in other religions. I just looked, and I just would be like, is that for me? But everything was always like, no, it's not for me. It's not for me, because I understand that within this matrix that man has had his hand in most everything. And I know that there is distortion within all of the world's religions. So religion hasn't been a hat that I want to put on, because I know that it's all distorted. From a young age, I remember being like, okay, so this religion excludes all of these other religions. This religion is like, this is the right one. And then this religion is like, no, I'm the right religion. And then this religion is like, no, I'm the right religion and y'all are wrong. So as soon as, as an adolescent, when I started recognizing that, then that's when I was like, oh, well, if you're excluding all the others out, God wouldn't do that. God, universe, great spirit, whatever word works always. So I was very turned off of religion right from the get-go, and really throughout my whole life. And so I am still not religious. I have not read the whole Bible. That's not what my knowledge base is. And it's also not what I'm internally called to do. And that's okay. I receive teachings of God and life and heart and universe through other means, and it's okay. And that's just what it is for me. So anyways, guys, I'm not going hardcore religion. I know a lot of our audience is very spiritual. I know a lot of this audience is religious. So I always support you feeling, doing, being, becoming what you feel is right for you. Like, we're all different for different reasons, and it's perfect. It's supposed to be like this. But I just want to put it out there that I'm not like thumping any Bible at you. I'm not, nothing like that. I'm not preaching at you. I want to share this because the truth in this that we all must hear right now is most incredible. And when we start going through this, you're going to start being like, oh, that's why it wasn't in the Bible. Okay. So one other thing that I quickly want to share, another reason about why I never really stepped into religiosity is because when I was like in my early 20s and I was living in Alberta, and I had a lot of Christian friends, a lot of Christian friends who would be churchgoers, etc., and I would see them driving these huge gas guzzling trucks, and I would see them litter, and I would see them stuff their faces with soda pop and horrible foods and be horrible to their bodies and fill their bodies and their faces in their life with like artificial things that are toxic. And right there, I'm like, God, for somebody that's like spiritually, religiously attuned and really connected to God and really knows God, what are you doing to the planet and what are you doing to your body? Because clearly to me, there's such a disconnect between my relation or like how I'm seeing these other people that I would witness. It's like there's a clear distinction between like my relationship with God and that matters and what that looks like. But then my relationship with the body doesn't matter. My relationship with the earth doesn't matter. It's like there isn't even contemplation of that. Where is the awareness that God or universe or whatever we want to call it, that is the divine masculine, but then that earth is the mother, God is the father. Yeah, God created the earth. And like, again, whatever words fit for everybody, okay? I try to say all of this in a way to not make anybody wrong and also to share that I'm not super opinionated about what words we use. Like, I know what is in my heart. And to me, the words don't matter so much. So to see that these people were, and I say this with respect and love, void of wisdom, void of understanding that connection of like, when I harm you, I'm harming me. When I harm myself, I harm the earth. Like that I am made of God's energy and all of Mother Earth's stuff. I'm made of both of them. I'm made of that energy and I'm made of her stuff. And it's perfect. It's how it's designed. So yeah, I want to share this because like wherever we are in our spiritual journey, in our religious journey, whatever it is for you, if we are not purging darkness, multidimensional poop and spiritual darkness out of the body so that we literally are more spacious to anchor more light and to know God and become God. In order to jump to the next timeline, how are we going to jump if you're full of toxic, putrefying shit of this three-dimensional matrix? How are you going to jump timelines with all that shit in your belly? How are you going to do it? It's like a dying piano tied to our butts, It doesn't work like that. So it's time to cleanse. And one thing that I meant to say when I was talking about parasites that I forgot to say was that the idea quickly of single soul occupancy. So when I mentioned that, to me, parasites carry a demonic energy. It's like they're an entity. It's not like it's just stuff in your body. It's like that's a thing with a personality. I mean, as much as something like that can have a personality, but it's a thing on a mission, okay? And I know I got off topic because I talked quickly and about a lot of stuff and I get on a roll. But when the parasite is feeding off of us and poisoning us at the same time, like spiritually, this is so dangerous for us. So like if we're people that have like 1,000 worms inside of us, it's like those are entities. Those are other spiritual, energetic entities in our body. And when I say I believe in single soul occupancy, that means that in my holy sacred body, only me, only my soul that is of God, you know? Only my soul. Nothing else, nothing else, nothing else. This is my soul's vehicle. This is my multidimensional body, right? And like when we really understand what the body truly is, then we're like, oh, no wonder they pollute us. No wonder they want us eating all this shit. No wonder they want us eating 3, 4, 5 times a day. No wonder they want us consuming dozens and dozens of different foods and chemicals and ingredients all at once. Like, no wonder. You can see that this whole world is by design. And we can see that the Essene Gospel of Peace was hidden for a reason, okay? So without further ado, guys, thank you so much for listening to this very long, extended episode. I love you guys so much. I know I'm talking a lot, but I know that this is stuff that it's time for you to hear or hear again. I know that you are ready for this perspective, this insight, these wisdom drops. I know that it's time. I know that it's time for me and it's time for you. So again, apologies that this is a longer episode, but the education is necessary. I feel like everything that I was just talking about for a long time, that it was tremendously of value, because who else is going to tell you these things? Who else is going to share this? Because I don't have a normal job. You know, what I've been doing is not conventional. All the projections I've had, all of the stuff. But, you know, I do it for people because in an hour of cleansing somebody, like, they always leave differently than they came. And when I say that, I mean, like, literally, you come see me. And also, friends, I'm reopening my colon hydrotherapy clinic for the first time since the pandemic, and I did not think I was going to reopen it, and I am. So even if you live at a distance from me, you can come and cleanse with me. I am doing it only on a very strict part-time basis, and I'm doing it in a brand new way that I have ever done, where they are actually full-on healing sessions, where I incorporate whatever tools you need beyond a colonic into your session. And so I've had people that in the past would come and actually travel to me, rent an Airbnb in Chattanooga for a few days, and come for, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of cleansing in a row. But even like after one colonic, I've had people literally drop 7 pounds in a colonic, 7 pounds of darkness from the body. When you get that darkness out of your body, because it is inside of you every second, every minute of every day, of every week, of every month, of every year, for everybody that hasn't done any cleansing yet. And again, bowel cleansing cannot fully happen without warm, purified water up your butt. So enemas or colonics. Okay. So like the change in people from when they first come into the office until when they're leaving, it is night and day. Guys, it is night and day. So anyways, hit me up if you need help, because I've got, you guys, I'm doing so much right now that my ability to do colonics is small. And so I'm going to be doing it only probably a few consecutive days a month, because it is, for me, it's intense work. It's a lot of work. So if you want to be one of the few people that I have the capacity to help right now, and even if you're living at a distance, please email me, ivy@inspiredsovereignty.com, and let's see how we can really support you and shift your timeline. Okay, friends? Okay, so now we are finally diving in to the Essene Gospel of Peace. And I'm not gonna go and explain how it was found and who found it and the controversy and stuff. You can go look into that if you want, but I'm gonna share what is truth in here. Okay, so friends, let's dive in. If you aren't drinking any water, let's drink some water too, okay? Okay, so friends, let's dive into this real goodness. And so I'm working off of a paper copy because I'm old school and I like highlighting and I like taking notes. And so you're going to be hearing some paper noises, okay? Okay, friends. So, like I said, we're not going to go into the background of how this was found and everything, but basically, the Essene Gospel of Peace, right? This is Jesus's teachings that was and this is a direct translation from the original Aramaic text from the secret archives of the Vatican, okay? And so the doctor, who is the gentleman that actually did the translation, he said, "We have nothing to add to this text. It speaks for itself. The reader who studies the pages that follow with concentration will feel the eternal vitality and powerful evidence of these profound truths which mankind needs today more urgently than ever before." And that was back in 1937 that he said that. So I'm taking, 85 years later, we really, 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 really need these truths, okay? So this is a pretty big text, and I've got a lot highlighted. So we're going to read and riff. That's how we're going to do this. This is how it's going to make most sense. Also, I found on YouTube, there are some audio versions of this. So I'm going to find a decent one, and I'm going to put it in the show notes in case you want to just absorb all of this stuff into you. I say do that. Please do that, because it'll be more comprehensive in different ways than me going through bits and pieces that are so relevant to this conversation right now, okay? And then I believe that there are also 4 books of the Essene Gospel of Peace. And so all of these teachings on how to care for the body, how to cleanse the body, how to feed the body, how to live in alignment with the planet, and as well as God. So, in these texts, God is Father, Mother Earth is Mother, okay? So so please listen to the audiobooks that I will find and put in the show notes if it's meant for you. And for food for thought, for food for thought, guys, this is so, so important. And I'm going to read all of this as eloquently as possible, but as you can see, it's like I'm going to be jumping paragraph to paragraph, page to page, and taking out the most hugely important and potent pieces for us today. So let us dive in. We're starting at the very beginning, though. "And then many sick and maimed came to Jesus, asking him, 'If you know all things, tell us, why do we suffer with these grievous plagues? Why are we not whole like other men? Master, heal us, that we too may be made strong and need abide no longer in our misery. We know that you have it in your power to heal all manner of disease. Free us from Satan and from all his great afflictions.'" So, and as we go through this, please keep recognizing that we are in a multidimensional war. It is a spiritual war. It is a war of energy and consciousness. So, you're an adult, you're wise. Don't be triggered by any of these words if, Bible words get you for some reason, okay? Like, interchange the words that make sense for you, the words that are comfortable for you, okay? Because we want to hear the message, and the specific wording isn't what is most important here, okay? So let's do the work of understanding this, even if these words and this vocabulary are not what fits best into our mind. Do your own translation for what fits for you as we go through, okay? Okay, so the people are asking Jesus, why do we suffer and why are we not whole? Why do we have the plagues of Satan in our bodies and not other people? And so many of us are going to relate to everything that I'm going to share here with you. So Jesus answered, "Happy are you that you hunger for the truth, for I will satisfy you with the bread of wisdom. Happy are you that you knock, for I will open to you the door of life. Happy are you that you would cast off the power of Satan, for I will lead you into the kingdom of our mother's angels, where the power of Satan cannot enter." Okay, so when we're saying mother, we're talking about earth, and we're about to learn that when we're talking about Mother Earth's angels, we're actually talking about elements, okay? We're talking about the earthly angels or earthly elements of water, of fire, of air, of sunlight, Okay. And so they ask Jesus, who is our mother and which her angels and where is her kingdom? Your mother is in you and you her. Right, guys? Because we, like I said earlier, we are made of the earth. We are made of the mother. We are made of her, so she is also us. She bore you. She gives you life. It was she who gave you your body. To her shall you one day give it back again, right? Ashes to ashes. Happy are you when you come to know her and her kingdom, right? That divine connection with Mother Earth, where we can learn all of the lessons in life simply through observation and participating with this world, with this planet. If you receive your mother's angels and if you do her laws, so if we receive the elemental angels and work with them and abide by the natural laws of this planet, I tell you truly, he who does these things shall never see disease. For the power of our Mother Earth, is above all, and it destroys Satan and his kingdom and has rule over all of your body and all living things. So the blood which runs through us is born of the blood of our earthly mothers. And it goes on and on. The air which we breathe is born of our earthly mother. And guys, this is so poetic and so beautiful. And I'm just giving you like little pieces. And it's so beautiful. So please like read further, okay? The air which we breathe is born of the breath of our earthly mother. The hardness of our bones is born of the bones of our earthly mother, of the rocks and of the stones. They stand naked to the heavens on the tops of the mountains, and it goes on, and it's so beautiful. The tenderness of our flesh is born of the flesh of our earthly mother, or our earthly mother. Our bowels. And so, guys, I'm a read mostly about everything here that pertains to bowel health and cleansing, okay? The bowels are born of the bowels of our earthly mother and are hid from our eyes like the invisible depths of the earth. The light of our eyes, the hearing of our ears are born of the colors and sounds of our earthly mother, which enclose us about as the waves of the sea a fish, as the eddying air a bird. I tell you in very truth, man is the son of the earthly mother, and from her did he, the Son of Man, receive his whole body, even as the body of the newborn babe is born of the womb of his mother. I tell you truly, you are one with the earthly mother. She is in you and you in her. Of her were you born, in her do you live, and to her shall you return again. Keep, therefore, her laws. For none can live long, neither be happy, but he who honors his earthly mother and does her laws. For your breath is her breath, for your blood is her blood, your bone her bone, your flesh her flesh, your bowels her bowels. Your eyes and your ears are her eyes and your ears. And y'all see me getting misty-eyed already here on the YouTube video. I tell you truly, should you fail to keep but only one of all of these laws, should you harm but only one of all of your body's members, you shall be utterly lost in grievous sickness, and there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. I tell you, unless you follow the laws of your mother, you can in no wise escape death. And he who clings to the laws of his mother, to him shall his mother cling also. She shall heal all his plagues, and he shall never become sick. She gives him long life and protects him from all afflictions. For your mother bore you, keeps life within you. She has given you her body, and none but she heals you. Happy is he who loves his mother and lies quietly in her bosom. Our earthly mother protects the Son of Man from all dangers and all evils, okay? So we must abide by everything that we're about to talk about If we truly do not want to be sick and unwell anymore, we live in alignment with the planet, with the seasons, with the natural law. And remember that natural law is the law of this universe, is the true law of this world that we are moving back to. Okay? Man's law is not lawful. We're going back to natural law. So Jesus says, "For I tell you truly, evils and dangers innumerable lie in wait for the sons of man." Beelzebub, the prince of all devils, the source of all and every evil, lies in wait in the body of sons of men. Okay, he entices, hang on, let me go back. Yeah, he entices everyone by that to which their heart is most inclined. And in the day that the sons of men have already become the slaves of all these vanities and abominations, then in payment therefore he snatches from the sons of men all those things which the earthly mother gave them so abundantly. Okay, hear this. Satan will take from us our breath, our blood, our bone, our flesh, bowels and eyes and ears. And the breath of the Son of Man becomes short and stifled, full of pain and evil smelling, like the breath of unclean beasts. And his blood becomes thick and evil smelling, like the water of the swamps. It clots and it blackens like the night of death. And his bone becomes hard and knotted. It melts away within and breaks asunder, as a stone falling down upon a rock. And his flesh waxes fat and watery. It rots and putrefies with scabs and boils that are an abomination. Right, so we're hearing that when we give into our temptations and all the ways that darkness lures us, and please, if you have not read Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, that is a must. I'm going to do an episode on it, and I'm going to also put a free audio book of that in the show notes, okay? That's in perfect alignment with this. Please go check that out also. But this is perfectly explaining what happens in the physical body that is happening to some degree to surely all of us here, okay? So we become full of pain. We reek of odor inside. Our breath changes. Our blood becomes thick and evil smelling. Like all of this is exactly what happens, guys, when we are polluted inside our body. When we have that bad bacteria, the yeast, the parasites, all of that stuff is demonic. It is of darkness. It is of Satan, and it is inside of us already, waiting to take hold and overpower us when we are not in alignment with the earthly mother's laws. Okay, we've got Father's laws, which are of the heavenly bodies and of our soul and spirit, and we have the Mother's laws, which are the domain of this physical planet, physical reality, earthly reality, our physical earthly bodies, okay? So I continue. And his bowels become full with abominable filthiness, with oozing streams of decay, and multitudes of abominable worms have their habitation there. And his eyes grow dim till dark night enshrouds them, and his ears become stopped like the silence of the grave. And last of all shall the erring of Son of Man lose life, for he kept not the laws of his mother, and he added sin to his sin. So here speaking, the sin is already in the body. Not the idea of we're all born sinful. That I don't agree with that. My soul doesn't agree with that, okay? But added sin to sin, as in we are already polluted inside with Satan's inhabitants inside of our body in the form of bad bacteria, yeast, parasites. That then when we're not living in alignment with this planet, we are eating and caring for ourselves in ways that create more harm and more invitation for the darkness to truly take hold in our body. So we are adding sin to sin and not keeping to the laws of the mother. Because when we align with Mother Earth's law, with the mother's laws, We are not sinning in our own body. And sinning, again, guys, I was not raised religiously. So like sinning isn't even a word that is really ever spoken of my mouth. It is not really one that is in my vocabulary. So again, I'm going off of this text as it is, and I'm riffing with you. But again, do your own translations. This is here for you to embody in the way that you perceive and you understand. So, for he kept not the laws of his mothers and added sin to sin. Therefore, are taken from him all of the gifts of the earthly mother, the breath, the blood, the bone, the flesh, the bowels, the eyes and ears. And after all those are taken from us, our life is taken. And friends, I'm also going to include this PDF. I found this free online PDF. I'm also going to include a copy of this in the show notes because I'm skipping over big chunks that, again, of course, really fully explain these concepts. Please either read this or read this document or listen to the audio version that I've put in the show notes should you want to really grow and embody this wisdom, okay? So Jesus says, for no man can serve two masters. For either he serves Beelzebub and his devils, so right, the darkness, or else he serves our earthly mother and her angels. Angels being our connection with the divine planetary elementals here. So either he serves death or he serves life. I tell you truly, happy are those that do the laws of life and wander not upon the paths of death, for in them the forces of life wax strong and they escape the plagues of death. Right? So even like with our choices for food and everything, we're either, and I've told my clients this for 10 years, we are either choosing things that are going to put us on the path of coherence, balance, internal harmonizing, healing, and recalibration, or we're going to eat and consume and do things that are on the path that are going to lead us to death, to disease symptoms, to incoherence in the body, to discordant energies, to a whole body that is not functioning on an energetic level or a cellular level properly. So you're choosing one or the other. There isn't a middle road. And all those around about him listened to his words with amazement, for his word was with power, and he taught quite otherwise than the priests and scribes. Okay, so right there also, right? This information of how to care for the body was omitted, and that's why we see often in the religious community, we see plenty of disease. We see extremely poor diet choices, body care choices, lifestyle choices. We see obesity and inflammation. In religious communities, we see so much of that because the wisdom of what the body is and how we're truly supposed to take care of it has been kept from us, of course. Because if we don't know how to take care of the body, Satan is going to get into the body and he's going to stay there. And he's going to create diseases that are going to create so much inflammation and like a buffer, like friction, like static within our multidimensional light bodies. These are multidimensional body. And when we allow Satan to take root in the physical body, what did I share with you earlier in this episode? When it happens to the physical body, that is going to permeate and be reflected and reflected and reflected and reflected up and up and up into higher energetic realms of ourselves and our souls, okay? So they get us by getting the body. By polluting the body, we invite darkness, and then that just starts spiraling out into all different areas of us, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And at the same time, it's going to keep growing and growing darkness in our bodies physically and start maiming all of our organs of perception and of multidimensional perception. It's going to affect our nervous system. A nervous system, I always tell you guys, that is connection to soul, because the nervous system is like how the electricity runs through our body. That electricity is God, okay? Okay, we're electromagnetic beings. The magnetism is the feminine and the mother. Okay, the electric is the father, and the masculine. Okay, so we can't serve two masters. So Jesus' followers ask him, Master, which are these laws of life? Rest a while longer with us and teach us. And Jesus himself sat down in their midst and said, I tell you truly, none can be happy except he who do the law. And the others answered, we all do the laws of Moses, our lawgiver, even as they are written in holy scriptures. And Jesus answered, seek not the law in your scriptures, for the law is life, whereas the scripture is dead. I tell you truly, Moses received not his laws from God in writing, but through the living word. The law is living word of living God to living prophets for living men. In everything that is life is the law written. Guys, again, you guys know that I was not raised on the Bible, but here we're saying that the scripture is not longer living, that everything that is life is the law written, that we witness the laws of God and the laws of Mother Earth in life itself, that we don't necessarily need the spiritual text because we can learn this through life. And just as I was telling you guys of I've been cleansing bodies for so many years, that I learned these laws. I learned these laws through trial and error and my own healing. My own huge healing, right? 20 years of chronic constipation to the point where 2 different times in my life they thought that I had lymphoma, right? And it was all just the darkness inside of me. As I purged that out, everything heals. We awaken. Everything, guys. So everything that is life is the law written. You find it in the grass, in the tree, in the river, in the mountain, in the birds of heaven, in the fishes of the sea, but seek it chiefly in yourselves. Seek it first and foremost in yourselves and in your bodies. For I tell you truly, all living things are nearer to God. All living things are nearer to God than the scripture, which is without life. God so made life and all living things that they might be the everlasting word to teach the laws of the true God to man. God wrote not the laws in the pages of the books, but in your heart and in your spirit. They are in your breath, your blood, your bone, in your flesh, your bowels, your eyes, your ears, and in every little part of your body. And that's why when we're going through the process of healing the body together, and friends, this is what I'm here to help you with. Please let me help you. That through witnessing this and experiencing this is how we learn the laws of God. This is how we learn these things. The laws of God, they are present in the air, in the water, in the earth, in the plants, in the sunbeams, in the depths, and in the heights. They all speak to you that you may understand the tongue and the will of the living God. But you shut your eyes that you may not see, and you shut your ears that you may not hear. I tell you truly that the scripture is the work of man, but life and all its hosts are the work of God. Wherefore do you not listen to the words of God which are written in his works? And wherefore do you study the dead scriptures which are the work of hands of men? How may we read the laws of God elsewhere than in the scriptures? His followers ask, where are these laws written? Read them to us from there where you see them, for we know nothing else but the scriptures which we have inherited from our forefathers. Tell us the laws of which you speak, that hearing them we may be healed and justified. And Jesus said, you do not understand the words of life because you are in death. Darkness darkens over your eyes and your ears are stopped with deafness. For I tell you, it profits you not at all that you pore over dead scriptures, if by your deeds you deny him who has given you the scriptures. I tell you truly, God and his laws are not in that which you do. They are not in gluttony and wine-bibbing, neither in riotous living, nor in lustfulness, nor in seeking after riches, nor yet in hatred of your enemies. For all these things are far from the true God and from his angels. But all these things come from the kingdom of darkness and the Lord of all evils. And all these things do you carry in yourselves, and so the word and the power of God enter not in into you, because all manner of evil and all manner of abominations have their dwelling in your body. Guys, in the body and your spirit. If you will that the living God's word and his power may enter you, defile not your body and your spirit, for the body is the temple of the Spirit, and the Spirit is the temple of God. Purify, therefore, the temple, that the Lord of the temple may dwell therein, and occupy a place that is worthy of him. And from all temptations of your body and your spirit coming from Satan, withdraw beneath the shadow of God's heaven. Renew yourselves and fast. For I tell you truly that Satan and his plagues may only be cast out of your body by fasting and by prayer. Go by yourself and fast alone, and show your fasting not to man. But guys, we're all fasting together because that's needed at this time. So we're not going to go at it alone, okay? The living God shall see it, and great shall be your reward of your fast. And fast till Beelzebub and all his evils depart from you. So fast until all that darkness and worms come out of your butt. And all the angels of our earthly mother come and serve you. Because it's working with the elementals of this planet that also heals us. For I tell you truly, except you fast, you shall never be freed from the power of Satan and from all diseases that come from Satan. Fast and pray fervently, seeking the power of the living God for your healing. And while you fast, eschew the sons of men and seek our earthly mother's angels, for he that seeks finds. Okay, guys, again, I tell you truly, if you do not fast, you shall never be freed from the power of darkness and from all diseases that come from the darkness, okay? That is what I was saying earlier. We got all the junk in the trunk. We got all this darkness, physical and multidimensional darkness in our bodies, in our colons, as putrefying accumulated fecal waste. And then all of the shit that invites to help break it down. So that's what I've been telling people. 10 years. And this isn't about me telling people, okay? This is just about, these are fundamental truths of this reality, why we are souls in 3D human bodies in this heavenly, earthly, crazy, interesting realm that's under great transformation. If we've got all of this junk in the trunk creating disease symptoms, you cannot be fully well without working on this, without purging it out, you know? That's why, I mean, we've got so many different medical professionals and even holistic practitioners that are working to heal people, yada, yada, yada. But we're completely ignorant. And when I say ignorant, I'm not dissing anybody. I'm bringing factual observation to the fact that we are ignoring, okay? The root word of ignorant is ignore. We are ignoring the fundamental truth that we don't poop out all of our poop, and a whole bunch of that poop stays in our bodies. And over the years, it accumulates, and it's constantly putrefying at body temperature inside of our bodies, in the organ that regulates our hormones and our nervous system and our emotions and our immune system. So like, of course we're going to have problems. And even if you're a healthy person, or even if you've done a whole bunch of physical healing, if you haven't gotten the junk out of the trunk yet, you're not nearly as healed, awake, aware, cleansed, purified, saintly, and holy as you think you are. And that's not me saying it from like any type of pedestal. This is me, your soul sister, who has been in the trenches for so long, who I've healed so much physical shit in my body. Oh my goodness. And it all came from purging darkness out of my butt. Okay. And when I've seen it again and again and again and again and again happen for people. And it's so simple. We work with the angel of water, primarily the angel of water. She purifies us inside. Okay, we're going to keep going. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to get on all of my tangents. And I know that this is a really long episode, but guys, this is so important. This episode deserves me to talk about it for as long as soul needs, because this episode isn't about me. And Please be okay that I'm sharing so much from my own personal experience, but like that's how we learn and that's how we share. And also, if I did not have all of these experiences as a colon hydrotherapist, like, I would not grasp this. I would not have been able to embody this, let alone would I be able to share this with others. And it's not about me teaching others. It's about others embodying this wisdom, because it's going to heal them. And then they're going to pass this on and on and on and on, because this awareness is contagious. So we're going to talk about the angels now. So Jesus said to seek the fresh air of the forest and of the fields, and there in the midst of them shall you find the angel of air. Put off your shoes and your clothing and suffer the angel of air to embrace all your body. Then it talks a whole bunch about breathing. And again, we're staying more on the bowel cleansing aspects of this, okay? And so after the angel of air, seek the angel of water. Put off your shoes and your clothing and suffer the angel of water to embrace your body. Cast yourselves wholly into his unfolding arms, and as often as you move the air with your breath, move your body, the water also. I tell you truly, the angel of water shall cast out of your body all uncleanlinesses, which defiled it without and within. And all unclean and evil-smelling things shall flow out of you, even as the uncleannesses of garments washed in the water flow away and are lost in the stream of the river. I tell you truly, holy is the angel of water who cleanses all that is unclean and makes all evil-smelling things of a sweet odor. No man may come before the face of God, whom the angel of water lets not pass. In very truth, all must be born again of water and of truth. For your body bathes in the river of earthly life, and your spirit bathes in the river of life everlasting. For you receive your blood from our earthly mother, and the truth from our heavenly Father. Think not that it is sufficient that the angel of water embrace you outwards only. So this is saying, do not just use water on the outside of your body. I tell you truly, the uncleanliness within is greater by much than the uncleanliness without. And he who cleanses himself without, so outside of them, like cleans the outside of their body, but within the body remains unclean, is like to tombs that outwards are painted fair, but are within full of all manner of horrible uncleanlinesses and abominations. So I tell you truly, suffer the angel of water. And this is what I was speaking about when I shared how I've always generally observed religious people, taking care of how they look and the nice clothes and the makeup and the jewelry and getting the hair did and how we look because this is our temple. And meanwhile, we're shoving garbage into our face and our weight is out of control and our personality. And it just, you know what I mean? It's like we put all this emphasis on how the physical body looks, look so that we want to look good for God. But it's what's inside. So I tell you truly, suffer the angel of water to baptize you also within, that you may become free of all of your past sins, and that within yourself, likewise, you may become as pure as the river's foam, sporting in the sunlight. So Jesus right here is telling you to do your enemas so that you are as clean inside as you are outside. And so guys, this is now how Jesus explains to do an enema. And I know you guys have all heard me probably say before that Jesus did enemas. Here is him telling us, okay? So seek therefore a large trailing gourd, having a stalk the length of a man. So the trailing gourd is your enema bag or your enema bucket. The having a stalk the length of a man, that is your 6 foot long, 1/4 inch silicone tube that carries the water to your body. So seek therefore a large trailing gourd, having the stalk the length of a man. Take out its innards right? You got to scoop all the stuff out of the gourd. And a gourd is like a squash or a pumpkin, etc. for anybody that doesn't know what a gourd is. So take out the insides of the gourd so that it's like a bucket and fill it with water from the river, which the sun has warmed, right? We always use, and hopefully the rivers were really clean back then, but I always tell you, purified warm water. It's all that this takes. You know, Jesus isn't saying put coffee up your butt. He's saying put warm water up your butt. So hang it upon the branch of a tree and kneel upon the gourd before the angel of water. So we put our enema kit, we either hang it on the towel rack, we put it on the counter, whatever, and you kneel upon the ground. So when we're doing an enema, we're often on all fours or laying on our backs, and we before the angel of water, and we suffer the end of the stalk. And when the word suffer is used here, it's not like in a negative way, okay? It's just to like be utilized with it, utilize it. So suffer the end of the stalk of the trailing gourd to enter your hinder part, right? We got to put the enema thing in our hiney, and it's okay. See, Jesus did it. It's okay. So suffer the end of the stalk of the trailing gourd to enter your hinder parts, and that the water may flow through all your bowels. The water is going to flow through all our bowels. This is an enema. Afterwards, rest kneeling on the ground before the angel of water and pray to the living God that he will forgive you all of your past sins, and pray the angel of water that he will free your body from every uncleanliness and disease. Then let the water run out from your body, that it may carry away from within it all the unclean and evil-smelling things of Satan. And you shall see with your eyes and smell with your nose all the abominations and uncleanlinesses which defiled the temple of your body, even all the sins which abode in your body, tormenting you with all manner of pains. I tell you truly, baptism with water frees you from all of these. Renew your baptism with water on every day of your fast, till the day when you see that the water which flows out of you is as pure as the river's foam. Because we want to keep doing enemas or colonics until we're releasing and we're not seeing any more old, abominable poop. Then betake your body to the coursing river, and there in the arms of the angel of water, render thanks to the living God that he has freed you from your sins. And this holy baptizing by the angel of water is rebirth unto the new life. For your eyes shall henceforth see, and your ears shall hear. Sin no more, therefore, after your baptism, that the angels of air and of water may eternally abide in you and serve you evermore. Friends, this holy internal baptism that we do through cleansing by the angels' water is rebirth unto new life. When you start cleansing your colon, you will feel reborn. Reborn is not a word that's really in my vocabulary much either, right? But that's truly how you start feeling. For your eyes shall henceforth see. Get this, I've had a number of clients that immediately after their first colonic, they're sitting in my office and they're like, Ivy, what? And they get almost like emotional. They're like, Ivy, the colors are brighter. How do these things happen? Okay, guys, I'm getting emotional right now, but let me just share with you, like, holding the space for people and just witnessing what happens when we relieve this dark stuff out of the bowels. They come in and they're like, Ivy, that stuff that was really troubling me, I feel a lot more peaceful about it. Ivy, like, my headaches are gone. I'm not in pain anymore. It feels, oh my God, to not be in pain. You know, I've had women that come in with anxiety to the point that they faint, that they publicly faint because of what's happening in their mind and heart and emotions and bodies due to anxiety. And through gut cleansing, through having repeated colonics, this is what they have told me has completely ceased those form of panic attacks. Like, what happens is so spiritual. It's very, very physical also, but it's also so spiritual. And so, you know, I have folks come to me for cleansing from all walks of life. I've got the 65-year-old man coming in and he just doesn't drink water. And I've got the 87-year-old woman, and I've got the 14-year-old girl with acne hormonal problems. And I've got the new moms, and I've got the gentlemen, who are college guys and they're in their mid-20s and they drink a lot and they eat a lot of bad stuff and they got IBS. Like, I see all the people. And so often, right, people come to me for physical, medical reasons. And when they leave, though, they leave with a spiritual experience of like knowing themselves and feeling more clarity. Because when we get this darkness out, there's immediate space for God to enter. And I know it sounds like I'm preaching. I know. And I know that it probably sounds like I'm like a really religious person. But I'm not. I'm not. Like my relationship is with God and the universe. My relationship has not yet been with Jesus. My relationship is with God and nature. And that is where I learn. And my relationship is with healing humans, or teaching the healing, holding space for the healing. But all of this, let me tell you through 10 years of flushing shit out of people, what this text is saying is exactly what happens. And so Jesus talks more about the angel of air and also the angel of sunlight, because what the water doesn't take out of us, breath and sunlight will purify us. So he talks a lot about that. And then letting these three brother angels, angel of water, angel of air, angel of sunlight, let them enfold you every day and let them abide with you through all of your fasting. So really, this cleansing journey going forward, let's talk about 2022. Let's have a deeper relationship in our bodies with the angel of water, the angel of air, and the angel of sunlight, because these are what is going to purify all of the darkness and all of the uncleanliness from within us. So I tell you truly, the power of the devil, all sins and uncleanlinesses shall depart in haste from that body which is embraced by these three angels. When the earthly mother's angels enter into your bodies in such wise that the lords of the temple repossesses it again. So when we utilize air, water, sunshine, God comes back into us. Or again, whatever words are your words. So the lords of the temple of our body will repossess it again. Then shall all evil smells depart in haste by your breath and by your skin, corrupt waters by your mouth and by your skin, by your hinder and by your privy parts. So when we're cleansing, utilizing our breath, our enemas, drinking water, and getting into sunlight, our body is going to start letting out all of these sinful abominations that have been programmed into it by the matrix. And it's going to come out of our skin and our breath and our odors and our butts and our urine cleansing. This is exactly how it all comes out. And all these things you shall see with your eyes and smell with your nose and touch with your hands. And when all sins and uncleanlinesses are gone from your body, your blood shall become as pure as our earthly mother's blood, and as the rivers foam sporting in the sunlight. And your breath shall become as pure as the breath of odorless flowers, your flesh as pure as the flesh of fruits reddening upon the leaves of trees, the light of your eye as clear and bright as the brightness of the sun shining upon the blue sky. And now shall the angels of the earthly mother serve you, and your breath, your blood, your flesh shall be one with the breath, the blood, and the flesh of the earthly mother, that your spirit also may become one with the spirit of your heavenly Father. For truly, no one can reach the heavenly Father unless through the earthly mother. Can we mic drop that, guys? We do not become one with God and the universe without us harmonizing and healing these bodies with and through the laws of Mother Earth. Okay? No one can reach our Heavenly Father unless through our earthly mother. And more wise are the words and laws of your heavenly Father and of your earthly mother than the words and the will of all fathers by seed and by blood. We all know that God's word, we must take that into account, that is what is true, right? But how often have we been deceived to not listen to Mother Earth? How many times I've heard, oh, well, you're just glorifying the earth. You're praising the earth, Mother Earth. And people are like, no, it's just God. And it's like, so you're going to disregard this planet that literally you're made out of, that this planet does not matter, and this body does not matter, and that only the heavenly realms matter. But we're in these human earthly bodies made of Mother Earth, and all of it is sacred, and all of it is living. Okay, friends, so here is where we are going to pause this wonderful conversation. So I hope that your integration and understanding is exactly what your soul desires it to be. And of course, always, like I keep saying, take what resonates with you and what is helpful and supportive right now and leave the rest. So I wish you all the very, very best rest of your day. Remember to drink that water and be kind to yourself. Be kind to one another, and always thank you for your presence. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for doing your inner work. It helps us all. And we're going to see you in episode 78, where we continue this conversation. I love you guys.